Hello there, it's Steve-O here from the Elite FPL podcast, and a bit of an early one. I say an early one, it's not really an early podcast for myself, but it is for you guys. I'm fully aware of this. I'm fully aware that the most people join in during the evening streams, but unfortunately, due to work commitments, I am unable to do evening streams, so to speak. But as we all know, these specific streams that I do go on for hours, quite literally. And it's funny because when Dan and Jason did theirs, it lasted, I think, for about an hour and 18 minutes. And Jason made an amusing comment basically saying that he felt like they'd gone on a bit longer than what they were expecting to go on for. I was just thinking, I've only just warmed up. But joking aside, no, there's been something playing on my mind over the last 24, 48 hours regarding fantasy football, and I've entitled this video, "Should fantasy football be launched closer to the start of the season?" The reason why I say this is because how long's the game been launched now for? What, 3 weeks? 2-3 weeks now? And I'm going to be completely honest with you, and this is a bit controversial, and I wonder if Dan and Jason will be like, no, you can't be saying that, mate. I'm getting a bit sick of it. Not the live streaming. I'm not getting sick of the live streaming. No. What I'm getting sick of is the amount of... I do everything, and then the one thing I forget is charging up, sticking in the charger for the laptop. So the one thing that I get sick of now is the amount of rate my teams. Daily Llama actually came up with a wonderful hashtag which pretty much sums up my thought process now, which is rant my team. Don't get me wrong. I genuinely enjoy having somebody on Discord chatting to me, talking fantasy football. I truly do. I find it absolutely amazing that somebody, like the other day, will come on all the way from Guyana in South America and talk to me about their team. It is amazing. But basically, I just find the world of fantasy football absolutely mental. In the sense of, Harry Kane scores a goal from the halfway line, and all of a sudden, the whole of the FPL community wants to buy Harry Kane and how to fit him in his team. Yet, someone like myself had him in my team, but yeah, don't get me wrong, it had a bit of a detrimental effect on the rest of my squad. But I kind of had him in a 4-5-1 or a 3-5-1, whatever formation I had. Yeah, crucified. Why have you got Harry Kane for? He's a waste of space. He's useless. You should be having this player. You should be having that player. Your defence is absolutely rubbish because you got Harry Kane in. Harry Kane scores a freak goal from the halfway line. All of a sudden, right, rip up the team sheet. Start again. How do we fit Harry Kane in? And you're like, just 3 days ago, you're getting berated for owning Harry Kane, and then all of a sudden you've got to own him. It's absolutely ludicrous. And I don't think anybody would be like this in the world of fantasy football if the game was launched closer to the start of the season. Now, my only thinking off the top of my head as to why the game launches so far behind the launch of the actual official Premier League season starting is, number one, you've got to set up mini leagues. They take a while to get mini leagues set up. Number two, people like to, get the traction moving, so to speak, regarding the game itself, get people involved and everything, trying to get as many players playing as possible. And we all know that the game gets more and more people playing. Last year it was like 6.5 million. I get that. But reality is that people just don't know what to do with themselves when it comes to picking a team and everything. Like, we all have our regular contributors in the Discord group and various other forum sites, and every day teams are swapping and changing because of various pre-season matches going on. Like one minute, like I just said, Kane isn't essential, and then all of a sudden he's a must. He is essential. Aubameyang, a player which everybody's dismissing, and then all of a sudden he's doing pretty well in pre-season. He looks like, from my opinion, I saw the game versus Bayern Munich, and looks like he's got a smile on his face. Looks like he's enjoying himself. I forget the team that they beat 2-0, 2-1 or 3-1. I can't remember now. Again, he provided an assist or whatever. Looked like he was enjoying himself. All of a sudden it's, Aubameyang may be an option or whatever. But yeah, I'm just fascinated by this subject matter, to be honest with you. I just think it's an interesting debate to have, to be honest with you. And if anybody's willing to come on the Discord and talk to me about this specific possible controversy, what I'm bringing out, or controversial point, however you want to explain it, whatever, it'd be interesting to hear your thought processes. I'll go into the chat in a minute. But yeah, up on the screen at the moment, I said to you the other day, I'm going to be putting up, this is going to be pretty much probably the team I'm going to be going with in game week 1. It's about as template as you can get. Fabianski. Okay, maybe Fabianski isn't template, it's Nick Pope or Matt Ryan, more to the point. But we all know my thought processes on him. Digne, of course. Zinchenko, the new kid on the block, so to speak. No one wants Laporte, so they're going with Zinchenko. Van Dijk and Alexander-Arnold. Tielemans, of course. Is it Tielemans? Is it Perez who we go with? Don't worry about Maddison. Load of rubbish. It's Tielemans or Perez. Salah, Fraser, Sterling, Jota, Wilson. Wilson I predominantly want to go with because he is the main striker of Bournemouth, and he's just basically very, very good. And he's probably, I think, along with Fraser, the two best attacking options from that specific team as well. The main argument is what? Fraser's on penalties or whatever. Is he? Is that actually confirmed? No. Nobody knows. I just think that Wilson's a better pick personally. But I think that team right there is probably what I'm going to go with. So it is interesting. It's an interesting talking point regarding me, what I'm thinking about should the game. In fact, I put up a poll on Twitter, actually. I did put up a poll on Twitter. It's only going to last a couple of hours, basically, probably the length of this stream. And simply put, I just want to see what the world of Twitter are thinking. So if you want to go and vote on Twitter, it's @EliteFPL. Go put your vote in there. Should the game be launched closer to the start of the season? But let's go into the chat and let's see if anybody's speaking. And the simple answer is, my goodness, yes, there are. And by the way, this specific stream is going to be mainly about you guys. If you've got nothing to talk to me about, then this stream is going to go on really, really slowly. This is going to end really, really quickly. If you guys have a lot to say, then I'm going to continue talking about it. But here we go. FPL Boona making a comment there. Thinking should open once pre-season starts, to be honest. Too much unnecessary tinkering. I couldn't agree more there. Kieran H, here we go. Yes, Steve-O. FIFA Tom 66, welcome to the stream. Kieran H, yeah, I'm doing all well, thank you. As you probably heard from the start of the stream, I'm getting a bit sick of going into, well, basically rate my teams, to be honest with you, and this whole absolute uproar in various players just because they score a goal. He's essential. I just think it's absolutely insane, to be honest with you. Dereco 35 who, welcome to the stream, thank you. I don't know if you've got 3 hours spare this time, but you never know, it could go on for 3 hours. It's all down to you guys what you want to talk about, to be honest with you. It's that classic thing of, I'm pretty bored, I kind of want to talk to you guys about my thought processes, and I know you lot are willing to chat and everything. And like I said, if anybody wants to come live on the Discord and chat to me personally, then there it is open. Go to the Discord. I'm sure FPL Boona or Daily Llama, if you're there, are willing to post up the the link in there, by all means do. And all you got to do is get in the waiting room and I will get you live on air so you can speak to the audience. By the way, I'm about to contradict myself. I'm fully aware of this. But if you do want to rate my team, then you have to go to the Discord. You need to upload your team in the Rate My Team. And I'll be more than... But, here's the preface here. I'm only going to rate your team if you come live on air and talk about it, because I had a couple of absolutely... In fact, I'll bring up one person, actually. But I actually had some wonderful conversations the other day. Dereco was one of them, talking about why he brought in Ake. As I can see, Dereco's in the live stream here watching. He came on and started talking to me about Dereco and everything. About Ake. And I thought it was absolutely fantastic. I thought he gave me a very good reasoning as to why he's brought in Ake, and it was great. And moving on to another regular contributor to not only the Discord, but this call-in, Elite FPL call-in, is the fact that Boas Reis from Dortmund, and he came up with a wonderful strategy. And I'm thinking to myself, you know what? I'm liking it. So it was a really good plan, and simply put, he had Aubameyang and Ake in his team, and the plan was to then, after 2 weeks, take out Aubameyang and Ake and bring in Vardy and Trent Alexander-Arnold or Robertson, whichever second Liverpool defender he didn't own, and basically gamble. It's not really a gamble, but like take a punt on the Bournemouth fixtures that are favourable, and also Arsenal's fixtures, which are really favourable, in Newcastle away and Burnley at home. I would like to think they're 2 guaranteed wins. Certainly against Burnley it'll be tough, but I remember last season, again, sorry to keep harping on about it, but I remember it was Aubameyang I recommended for anybody to captain if they owned him against Burnley, and he did deliver, and he came back with... he definitely came with a double point score. I think he may have came back with 2 goals. 3-5 who? I know you're an Arsenal fan, if you can correct me on that, or if anybody in chat can correct me on that. But the point being is that he scored 2 goals against us, and he was a fantastic captaincy option. Could he do the same again? Absolutely he could. That's if he's still at Arsenal, of course, which Boas Rice generally thinks he is. But I was thinking of actually stealing his idea, to be honest with you. I'm not going to lie. And that's another thing that I find really interesting with fantasy football launching so early. You just get so many ideas from so many different people that you just don't know what's right and what's wrong. The reality is that it's that classic thing of just stick with what you kind of were planning with in the first place. And if you do get persuaded by a general consensus of what's right and what's wrong, that's cool. But if it's kind of taking you away from what you're personally thinking, then step away, I think. But, you know, Paul Gray, welcome to the stream. Nice one, mate. Tristan Mitchell, welcome to the stream. He just said he was watching my previous stream. It went on for a very long time, but they're worth it. I really, really enjoy the 3-hour pods, to be honest with you. They are long. But I will say this. It was Clement LaRue that made this point, and I completely agree with him. I personally, again, let me know what you think in the chat, but I personally think that the live stream format is more enjoyable than the already edited version of a video format. It's just my opinion. I just find them more enjoyable. I was listening to a live stream from yesterday, and you know what? I really enjoyed it because it's 2 hosts interacting with the audience, and again, you get different ideas and stuff. And when they finish, I was just like, oh, for goodness, I want to listen to more. And I'm not the only person that gets the opportunity to, you know, for a few hours at work, just stick on my headphones, stick on a live stream, and just listen. And just listen with intent and just hear wonderful thought processes from the FPL community talking to the host, and then the host giving their own opinion and everything. I think the format is great, and I think it's highly underused, if I'm honest with you. And I'm glad that the Elite FPL is, you know, one of the few kind of live stream FPL shows out there, to be honest with you, that produce regular content. Which reminds me, Thanks to FPL Boona, really, and Daily Llama, and of course Jason and Dan just a second ago. We are only 9, it may be less than that now, but we are only 9 subscribers away from reaching the 1,000 mark. So, if you are watching this and you haven't subscribed and you enjoy what we're doing, and you know we produce regular content and everything, I highly recommend you hit that subscribe button. In fact, we're, surprise, surprise, someone's unsubscribed, probably because I'm live on air again. Oh no, it's him again. Can't be doing this anymore. No, I'm bored of it already. But no, we're now 10 subscribers away. So if you are somebody that does watch this on a regular basis and isn't subscribed and likes our content, then hit that subscribe button. More importantly, hit that notification button, because when I do decide to do this impromptu, spontaneous live streams, the only way I tell you guys about it is via Discord or on Twitter. And other than that, unless you're on your phone with the internet on, it will pop up on your notifications. So hit that notification point as well. As I always say, just hit that like button, show your support, and it does help the channel grow even more and more and more. But yeah, here we go. Continue with the chat. Jason Costa, welcome. Yep, all good, my friend. Daily Paul, welcome. Ray R making a point about what I'm saying, if the game should be released later, which is basically this. It should be released later if they're not going to add players like Batshuayi, Abraham, Soloth, Reece Nelson, Steele, Brighton goalkeeper, etc. Yeah, I agree. I don't understand why, especially Batshuayi and Abraham. I don't quite understand why they haven't been added to the game. It makes no logical sense whatsoever to me, because at the end of the day, it's not like they're confirmed to be going out on loan or anything, or being transferred out. They are Chelsea players that were on loan last season. So yeah, I completely agree with that thought process. But are they players that people would actually put in their team, even if they were in there? Phil Potter, yeah, it's too early in the amount of teams. Yeah, Phil Potter making the point here. Hey Steve, yeah, it's too early in his opinion and my opinion, and the amount of rate my teams being posted, rant my teams, yeah, get it on Twitter, rant my team, get it trending. The amount of rant my teams being posted is absolutely crazy. I completely agree with you, and like I say, I just kind of get bored of it, to be honest with you. It's just like you just see the same old thing, and it's just the same opinion over and over again. And how many times can you tell people double Liverpool defence? No, and if you don't have double Liverpool defence, everybody says, why haven't you got double Liverpool defence for? And if you have got double Liverpool defence, it's, yep, I don't know what more I can say to this conversation. So I completely agree with you there. Yeah, I agree with Tristan there, saying that this it is the internet which completely makes this whole thing up, to be honest with you. Dereco making a point. I wouldn't mind if FPL began 2-3 weeks before the season starts, because it's a headache when it launches 6 weeks before. Yeah. Because all we're doing is just constantly tinkering about with various things, and we just keep jumping on bandwagons for no reason at all. Or there are reasonings as to why we jump on these bandwagons, but reality is that, you know, the tinkering is just absolutely absurd. A Daily Paul here asking, Steve-O, what do I think of Willian getting the number 10 shirt at Chelsea? Does that mean he's a guaranteed starter? The fact that he's on free kicks and corners, plus could he be on pens? Well, the basic understanding is that Jorginho is on penalties. You know, it could go to somebody else like Giroud if he's the guaranteed starting striker, as an example. But my basic understanding is that Giroud is, in fact, Dereco, if you're live in chat, let us know if Willian could be a penalty taker. But I believe, based on Dereco's comments, not only that, but on Frank Lampard's comments, that Frank Lampard actually come out and said that he is part of his, Mason Mount is part of his first team plans. Now, whether that actually means starting or it means just being part of the first team squad, i.e. being on the bench, I don't know. But based on pre-season so far and everything, Mason Mount could be that placeholder while Loftus-Cheek is out, and also could he potentially play Hudson-Odoi in that position? Who knows? Ramsey Sinclair making a bit of a very nice boast here. Congratulations. Ramsey Sinclair has been promoted to sous chef. Congratulations. Well done, my friend. Notorious nerd making a point. Yep, my team is 2 template. I completely agree with you. Tahir Mohammed making a point. Steve, I don't know what my tactics are this season. Play it slow and steady or play the Maverick way. Just see how it goes. Work on team value. I always go with the slow and steady. I think you just don't know how, number one, the season's going to play out. I usually look at it at every 10 game weeks. So I always like to see where I am at stating the obvious. I always like to see where I'm at game week 10 and then play around with that. And sometimes actually see where I'm at I think it's the second international break, which happens around the end of September, beginning of October. So again, we're looking at game week 10 to 12 to see where we are, to see where I'm at. Unless, for example, in my team, I've got an absolute disaster of a player, i.e. Digne isn't getting me any attacking returns whatsoever, clean sheets are non-existent, then I've got to get him out. Sterling, for example, if he got injured, God forbid, or if he was to start off really, really badly, he's quite easy to downgrade. But then, of course, it's a case of what if Harry Kane, Aguero, Aubameyang, Giroud start off like steam trains, and Salah and players like Sterling, etc., are not performing at the level that they are. Mane, maybe what if he takes off like a steam train or whatever? You know, we all have to work out our own ways of playing the game and how we're going to bring these players in. But at the end of the day, game week 1 is based on your own gut, really, and in a way kind of following the crowd. But, you know, I was even listening to someone the other day saying about notorious nerds kind of favourite player from Chelsea, Giroud. I think Giroud's being overlooked, and I'm genuinely thinking maybe downgrading. In fact, you know what? Let's annoy some people. Let's annoy people in the chat now. They're going to be like, what are you doing? You can't be doing that. Well, I can, because it's my team and I can do whatever I want with it. But I'm going to take out Digne. And if it works, yep, there we are. I'm going to get rid of Digne. I'm going to get rid of Jota. And I'm going to bring in, Notorious Nerd's best mate, in Giroud. He's only 7 million. I think 7 million for a proven Premier League striker. We all know how well Giroud did last year in the Europa League. And bring in... That's another player as well, who I'm about to bring in now. Coleman. You know, you don't have Coleman... You don't have... If you have... Prior to before him scoring, if you had him in your team, you'd be lambasted for not having Digne. The second he scores, you got to have Coleman. Digne's a waste of space. He's useless. Coleman's the main man. He's the most attacking Everton defender you've got at own. It's just ludicrous, isn't it? So yeah, there we are. There's my updated team for you. People are going to go absolutely mad. Don't like the look of that, don't you? Thankfully, it's not your team then. That's another thing. I don't like the look of your team. Yeah, but I'm your competition. So if you don't like the team, surely that's a good thing for you guys who complain about the team. I find it absolutely absurd. So do you want my team to be exactly like yours, and then everybody else's team to be exactly like yours? So then when we start the season, we all are number 1, and we don't move from that number 1 spot ever. God, it's just mad, isn't it? Talking of which, talking of leagues and teams, etc. I said it the other day. Our Elite FPL Challenge League. And we all know what the Challenge League is. It is the Elite FPL Cash Mini League, everybody. And I know it's not particularly clear on screen, and I can apologise. But I'll tell you what I'll do. Is for all you guys that are in the... I won't be able to read it. It's going to be absolutely impossible for me to read it. But for all you guys, in fact, I am going to give a name check because I'll be able to do it on my phone. Let's do it on my phone. And I'm going to give a name check to everybody that's in the Cash Mini League at the moment for the Elite FPL podcast. And what I will tell you is that if you want any details on the Elite FPL Cash Mini League, then go into the Discord and basically you'll get all details there, quite simply put. And again, if FPL Boona, which I know you just said you're a bit busy at the moment, and I appreciate you just even being part of the live stream. If Daily Llama or anybody's in chat that has the link to the Discord group, for anybody that isn't part of it and wants to get part of the Cash Mini League, then put the link in the description and away we go. But, so the people in the Cash Mini League as it stands is this. Myself, obviously. David Stahl. And I apologise if here we go, Steve-O bingo time, if I butcher your name, but. So, David Stahl, Andrew Fong, that's spelt with an F, Tom Fagan, Stephen Harmeinston, Jay Gutterman, aka Aussie Boy FPL, Ramsey Sinclair, just mentioned him regarding the fact that he just got promotion as a sous chef, again, congratulations there, Alex Summerson, Calvin Rostrom, aka FPL Penguin, Daniel Simpson, or Dan Simpson, Andrew Gilbert, Andy Bick, Shane McGuinness, John Wallace, Chris Joyce, Felix Barries, Gautam Venkatasan. I know you're a regular, I apologise for butchering your name there. Doris Cavalli, Marlon Moore, Mark Baker, Kieran Rogers, Arthur Svardal, Brett Morrison, John Harris, G Wiz, Sultan Saeed, Clement Rue, Brendan De Plessis, Stephen Walker, Matthew Ezishash, FPL Boona, and of course Jason, the creator of the Elite FPL. But yes, you're all the guys that have so far, 20 odd names that have that are going to be participating in the Cash Mini League. My understanding is that you have until the 8th of August to get your names into the Cash Mini League. Sign up with the form and you'll be able to find out if you can join the Cash Mini League or not by signing in that form and everything, and away you go basically. But so there's 20 people in that mini league, and that's what the main focus of this podcast is going to be next season. Talking that Cash Mini League rivalries, what we're all going to be doing with our teams, etc. All this double bluffing is going to be absolutely fantastic. It's going to be awesome. I genuinely cannot wait for next season. It's going to be great. Right, let's scroll down a bit more. Let's see what's going on. Ramsey Sinclair. Right, I'm going to have to go right to the bottom now. Brilliant, and work my way up. Like I said, if Mr. Kimmy, opinions on Decora. Well, simply put, he's going to be starting for Wolves. He is 4.5. He's a very, very good, cheap midfielder enabler. Like I said, he's playing for Wolves in a very good attacking team, let's be honest here, and could provide you with the odd assist here and there, and he's an absolute must-have, basically. Thank you, FPL Boona, for putting in the Discord link there. Really appreciate that. Thank you. Clacko. Don't recognise the name, but welcome to the stream. This is as good as TalkSport, but a bit more specific, mate. Yeah, completely agree with you. Chris Judge making a very interesting point. Hiya, Steve-O, mate. Let them open with what they want. Quite like the whole thing of it opening at different times each year. FPL is a product. When it is ready, it is ready. Everyone has the same chance. Yep, I completely agree with you there. Who's going to be starting Spurs? Mr. Kimmy asking, who's going to be starting Spurs right back this season? Well, the talk is, what do you call it? potentially Walker Peters. Walker Peters could be potentially that right back. So maybe get on the not the bandwagon per se, but if not, it could be Aurier. But the talk is that Tottenham are wanting to sell him. So let's see. Do you know what? I'm going to quickly check if there's anybody actually in the Discord who actually wants to come on live. No, they don't at the moment. Oh, wait a minute. We do have people. Wow. Interesting. We actually have people live that are wanting to come live on air. So what I'll do is I will go with Tom FPL. So Tom FPL, you need to unmute your mic. And once you unmute your mic, we'll get you live on air. So Tom FPL, you are in the waiting room at the moment. And what we need you to do is get on the old unmuting of the mic. And we will happily get you live on air. But until then, I see Ramsey FPL is in the Discord waiting room. He has unmuted his mic, so this is going to be fun and interesting. So, Ramsey FPL, we're going to bring you live on air. Please do not swear. And by the way, I found out, thank you to my good friend, Mr. Reed. There's the first name check of the day, Mr. Reed. Please do not swear. So, yeah, that's off Big Brother. We're going to bring you live on 3, a 2, a 1. Ramsey FPL, you are live on the Elite FPL call-in. How can we help you, mate? What have you got to say? You need to turn your stream down, mate.
Wait, can you hear me like that?
Yep, that's absolutely cool. Just need to turn the stream down and then we can all have a coherent conversation. Welcome to the Elite FPL call-in. How can we help you?
Give me a second. I was going to post my team. I'm just trying to work how to use this thing. Sorry.
What we'll do is we'll just quickly take you off on air. Once you've posted it, we'll get you back on. All right?
Sorry about that.
No, not a problem at all. There we are. That's so we'll get Tom FPL on. He's unmuted his mic. So Tom FPL, you're going to be coming live on air in a 3, a 2. Tom FPL, you're live on Elite FPL call-in. How can we help you, mate? What can we do for you? Hello, Tom. Are you there?
Hello.
Oh, you're a bit distant there, Tom. You're live on air. How can we help you, mate? What do you want to talk about?
Yeah,
Oh, we're having a few problems there, Tom, with your microphone there. Sorry, mate. We're going to have to quickly cut you off. Of course, that doesn't work. Why wouldn't it? Right then, we'll get on to regular contributor, Notorious Nerd. Notorious Nerd will get you live on air in a 3, a 2, a 1. Here we go. Notorious Nerd, are you there? Hello, Notorious.
Hello,
are you there?
Siegel.
Hello.
I'm here. Nice to hear you.
No, nice to hear you as well. How can we help you, mate? What do you want to talk about? All things fantasy football. Any questions? Any thought processes?
So, are you pretty settled on this team you have the screen?
Do you know what?
So, is your team settled?
Barring, obviously, the transfer that I deliberately just made a second ago regarding Giroud and Coleman. Yeah, I am. I'm pretty happy. This is a team which I kind of have had since the game launched, and they were all pretty, barring Tielemans, who was, I noticed that you commented in chat regarding Sigurdsson. Barring Tielemans, yeah, I'm pretty much settled. I mean, I know you said it's a bit template. I completely agree with you. I mean, overall, what are your thoughts on this this team then?
Yeah, you can make some changes. I would still say got to have Sigurdsson there.
Why do you say
you've
got to have Sigurdsson? That's interesting.
Yeah, he's a player, I guess, like he has a range of FPL points potential. Like he can score, he can get the assists, he is on set pieces and penalties probably. So I think he's a fantastic player to have. He's got the history, he's got the right fixtures as well. So I think he's someone you can't avoid at the moment.
Would you say maybe potentially downgrading or
I
upgrading
still think you can
Fraser
downgrade
to
Sterling. I still think.
Say that again, Notorious.
Yeah. No, I would keep Fraser. I still think you can downgrade Sterling to a De Bruyne or someone in City.
So you're somebody in that camp of not worried about Sterling just going absolutely mad, maybe against West Ham as an example. You're not concerned about Sterling's fantastic. Well, we say potential, but we all know what his point scoring's like in fantasy football. That it doesn't worry you whatsoever.
No, not really. As I said, like if you have one set and forget capture the other players, so you can spread out the money throughout your team well, so you can cover Sterling. So that's my strategy, basically.
You're breaking up there a bit,
Not
Notorious.
worry. You've seen my new team.
Is it in the Rate My
Made
Team by
some
any
changes.
chance?
Yeah, red.
Okay, let's bring it
It's
up.
not fixed.
Let's bring it up and let's find out what Notorious Nerd's latest
It's
team.
a 3-5-2 formation at the moment.
Right, okay, that's interesting. I'm just having a few technical issues here. Surprise, surprise. What's this? Let me just try and scroll up here because it's all Right, Rate My Team. Where are you? Right, here we go. Right, hopefully you posted it quite recently, and then we'll be able to bring it up on screen.
Yeah, 3-5-2.
Everything's running really, really slow when you don't want it to. Absolutely ridiculous. So you're saying you're going with a 3-5-2. So while we're waiting for it to load up and everything, do you want to just, if off the top of your head, if you could tell us what you're specifically going with then?
Can you say?
Oh, here we are. Right, I've got it here. Right, cool. I've got it here. Hold on a minute.
Yeah, I'm going to post it again.
So what we'll do... You're breaking up a bit there, Notorious. I'm not wanting to cut you off air, but I may have
Posted
to.
it again. Can you see it?
Yeah, I can see it.
I've
It's up on screen. I'm going to
just
bring it up.
posted.
Here we are. It's up on screen right now. So obviously you're going with the Matt Ryan in goal, and then Digne, Van Dijk, Alexander-Arnold, Sigurdsson, Fraser, Salah, Sane and McGinn. Now this is interesting. Lacazette and King. So straight away, I want to ask you, why McGinn?
Basically, he's got some real good potential based on his last season. I guess with some Villa fans, they say like he's the best in that midfield that they have, and he's quite a box-to-box player, all box-to-box player, and he takes a lot of shots from inside the box. So like he has some potential there, and the fixtures are really good to avoid. Not to like. We are going to punt on a Aston Villa player, so I guess McGinn for me would be a good choice.
Why? What's the decision to go with Lacazette?
Lacazette, the first two fixtures are really good for Arsenal, and he seems to be playing more centrally than Aubameyang. So there is a potential for him that he can go big the first two games. Depending on that, like, I think Lacazette has potential.
Now, I've asked you this before, and I'm going to keep asking this until the game launches. You're still set with Sane in your team moving up to game week 1, or are you thinking of just swapping him to Kevin De Bruyne?
Nothing in this so far has changed my mind. Like there is some transfer talk, but still in City, in the team, and pre-season also. Like I'm watching few games, so I'm not convinced that he's going to be a bad option. He's still there.
What I always ask this question to our callers, and I think it's always a nice prevalent question in a way, which is, what is the likelihood of this being your team come game week 1?
I guess my defense won't change much, and the fifth midfielder spot is still up for grabs. So it's a high chance. I would say 70 to 80% that it would.
So you're quite
The only changes, yeah.
you're quite happy with having just 3 defenders then. You're not going to get caught up. You're not getting caught up in this 4-man or even 5-man defence strategy that a lot of people are considering and saying that people like me are mad for not having 4 or 5 premium defenders.
No, I'm not going to have 5 at the back. I'm still thinking with 4-4-2 formation. So if there's going to be any changes, it would be whether to have a fourth playing premium mid or whether to drop it for a bench player or fifth midfielder. So that's the only thing.
What are your
Only 5 at the back.
What are your thoughts on what I started up the show with a bit of a Steve-O rant really, but the game launching a bit too early, in my opinion, and maybe it should launch a bit more closer to the start of the season, maybe 2 or 3 weeks?
Yeah, I think it was launched a bit early, especially when they first released the prices of the players. So we were expecting like a gap of a week or so, like, but suddenly the next day I think it is a bit early. They could have waited. Oh, personally, I would say like a week after the prices for the first 5 players.
Oh, you're breaking up there, Notorious. It's a shame. Just one quick question before we let you go. Are you getting? Have you been caught up in the Harry Kane hype?
No, not for me. Harry Kane is a wait and watch. The fixtures are not that appealing for me. So like Harry Kane is someone who doesn't interest me at the moment.
And I'm assuming you're thinking the this freak goal that he scored yesterday from the halfway line isn't tempting, you know.
No, he needs to score like hat tricks in the preseason to even get into my thinking at the moment. Score like a treble or back-to-back hat trick.
Interesting. Notorious, thank you ever so much for joining us and enjoy the rest of the show, mate. Thank you.
Thank you, Steve.
Take it easy, pal. Thank you. There's Notorious Nerd there. Well, what are your thoughts on Notorious? Pretty happy with going with a 3-5-2 formation. Let us know in chat. He's going to be there. He's going to be there to discuss everything. Up next, let's bring in Ramsey FPL. We had to take him off air a second, but now let's bring it back in. So Ramsey FPL, you're live on Elite FPL Call-In. Welcome, Ramsey FPL.
Hello
there. A very excited man. How are we?
I'm good, thank you. Yes, good. Just happy to come home and talk FPL.
Well, I've just seen instantly your team is up in the Discord, and interestingly, as I bring it up to people on screen, if it all works out, you're going with a 3-4-3 formation. Now,
yes, classic.
So basically, once we bring this up on screen, sorry, this is my stupidity here. Here we go. Right then, we got. It's a bit small on my screen, but it doesn't matter. I can read it out for people that are listening as audio. Yeah. So we're going with, like I said, a 3-4-3, and it's Leno in goal, Digne, Alexander-Arnold, and Walker, Sterling, Salah, Perez, and Brooks, King, Rashford, Deulofeu, and then on the bench we're going with Dendoncker, Kelly. So if you want to talk us through your team, I mean, the main standout points are Leno, Kyle Walker, Deulofeu, and Rashford. So what are your thoughts on those and why you've got them in?
So Leno in goal. I see 2 clean sheets there at the start of the season, with just Newcastle being abysmal, and I think it's Burnley they play after that at home. Burnley aren't the most attacking team in the world, and Newcastle, like I say, are just not great at the moment. And I can always upgrade him or downgrade him to somebody cheaper and then put that money elsewhere. But I'm quite happy with that, and we all kind of wild card a bit early anyway, so
Do
that's
we
not
though?
really...
That's an interesting one. Are you somebody that does wildcard early because you feel you have to, or do you follow the crowd?
No, I do it. I do it because at the start of the season, teams are always tinkering, aren't they? So players that you think will start might not start. So that's going to happen probably around about game week 4. I would say I would wild card. Um, yeah, and Leno's a good keeper as well.
I
He
agree.
will
Yeah.
make saves. And with Walker, I know that he's pretty much a guaranteed starter at City at 6 million. His previous 2 seasons, he got 6 assists in each of those seasons, and I think last season was just kind of, like how do I say, like,
An
he
anomaly.
didn't do well in attacking returns. Yeah, something like that, because he's an attacking fullback, and he's 6 million. Zinchenko, I feel like he might start for a few games, but he's a big rotation risk, I think, with Mendy there.
Wow.
And Walker's cheaper with Laporte, cheaper than Laporte. So I don't know. I think he fits in quite nicely.
And I mean, like I said, Rashford. Why Rashford? That's a name that not many people mention in the.
Yeah, I mean, the United's fixtures this year are fantastic. They're great. Start the fixtures, and he's going to be the main man. He's never been the main man before at United. So, and like when
Oh, he hasn't.
season last year. So I think this season's a season to shine up front. He's looking good in pre-season. He's looking sharp. He's had a good rest. I think he's going to do well this season. I really do. And he's only 8.5 for a team that's probably going to finish in the top 4, I would say. And if they don't finish 4th, they'll probably finish 5th.
You think that United have got a chance of getting? I'm not suggesting they have. Well, no, I am actually suggesting they haven't. I don't think they've got a cat and hell's chance of getting the top 4. But you think they do?
They're sorting out the defence by the looks of things. Wan-Bissaka, his statistics from last year were amazing. For a defender playing at Crystal Palace, he's a great signing. And if they get Maguire, I mean that defence is looking can look quite good, to be fair. I'm a United fan, obviously, so I'm going to be a bit biased with it. But no, I genuinely think that Rashford is going to have a good season, and the only way that he's coming out my team is if we sign another striker. To be honest, he's pretty dead set in there.
Do you think you will be signing another striker? I mean, I saw there was talk about signing that Dybala from Juventus, I think.
Yeah, well, I don't know. Until it happens, he's just going to stay in there, I think.
You're not concerned about the end of last season where Solskjaer could barely buy a win? I mean, I'm a bit bitter towards United regarding the fact that they couldn't even beat Cardiff at Old Trafford. I mean, you're not concerned about this lack of form towards the end of the season?
It's a new season, isn't it? It's a new season, so I don't like to think about the previous season too much because, like, the new players are coming in. Ollie's got a full pre-season. Things will get better. Man United are a huge club, and I feel like from now, it's only going to get better now. The signings have looked good. Lots of young players coming through. There was a lot of problems at United last year with the whole Mourinho saga and everything like that. This is a fresh season, so I'm not really worried about it, to be honest. I don't think. I like to stay positive, to be fair.
So before we let you go, I always like asking these questions. I just said to Notorious Nerd.
Oh.
What is the likelihood of this team staying the same for game week 1?
To be honest, I'm really happy with my team. I don't it will depend on signings going in and out, what changes. But I don't know. I'd say it's pretty likely that it's going to stay the same at the moment because I see it as being quite a strong team. To be fair, I've got
agree.
Salah, Sterling. You know, I've got a Liverpool defender, Alexander-Arnold. I think he's the best option there. Got a City defender who's going to start. You know, I've got my Bournemouth coverage, Leicester coverage. Perez also. He was starting with Vardy and everything, so he looks like he's going to be a good player this season. And I think he scored more points than any other midfielder that played for Leicester last season. So he's looking good. So yeah, I'm pretty happy.
I'm detecting an accent there, and FPL Booner, if you're listening, this may make you laugh, this may not, and that's a bit of a private joke, but you'll understand why in a second. It sounds like you're from the West Country. Am I right? Like Bristol area or something? Or am I completely way off the mark?
You're way off the mark. My accent's a bit broken. I'm from Scotland, but you know, yeah, so yeah, a little bit off the mark.
And do you, one final question: do you think the game is launched too early? Do you think it should be launched a bit more closer to the start of the season, approximately 2-3 weeks before it starts?
To be honest, I'm not really fussed, and we wouldn't have been having these great streams if it was launched later, would we? So, you know, I'm pretty happy with it, to be honest.
And how do you know about the Elite FPL live streams and the Elite FPL call-ins, etc.? What brings you to us, and obviously the Discord group?
I'm a bit of an FPL addict, shall we say? So you know, I'll type in FPL in the search bar, and you know, you guys come up. You seem to be the only guys doing these streams at the moment as well, which is good. So
are you somebody that enjoys the streaming format, or do you prefer the video format? What's your thought processes? Or do you just like anything?
I love the streaming. Love the streaming format.
Yeah.
It's a bit more personal as well. We like that. Definitely. What are
you thinking of the fact that you're, well, let's be honest here, you're live on a show, but what do you think of the aspect of that? We're able to bring callers live on air and discuss their teams like you are now. I think it's great.
Yeah, I think it's fantastic. I mean, obviously it started off a little bit wobbly, but you know, it's awesome. I love it. I think it's brilliant. Yeah, love what you're doing here, to be honest.
Well, thank you for the kind words. Have you got any genuinely any final thoughts for the listeners out there or the watchers before we let you go?
No, I'm just gonna carry on like listening along and see what everybody else is doing. Really.
A bit of a personal question. It's nothing serious. Just of interest. What are you actually doing specifically now to be able to tune in live and watch this?
Specifically right now, I'm sat down with my laptop open and listening to the stream. Nothing else.
I'm glad that we're here to keep you entertained, so to speak. Ramsey FPL, you've been a star, and we'll happily get you on whenever you want, mate. Thank you.
Thank you. Cheers.
Cheers. No, thank you. Take it easy. Bye. There we are, Ramsey FPL here, live on air, bringing up some very interesting points regarding his team there, and points of note being he feels that Zinchenko's a bit of a rotation risk. What do you think in chat? Rashford being the main man at United? I do agree with this. I mean, he said that United have got some very good fixtures upcoming. I mean, I personally think that... I don't think the word struggle is extremely strong, I'm aware, but I personally think that going off last season, I just found United were a bit of a joke, to be honest with you. I just do not trust them whatsoever. I mean, Ramsey did make a very interesting point that, you know, they've brought in Wan-Bissaka, who is an excellent defender. Looks like they're going to be getting a Maguire at some point. Good God knows when, but it looks like they will be getting a Maguire. That will shore up their defence. And yeah, opening up against Chelsea, we've already heard my thoughts on that particular game week. Wolves away, not the greatest fixture, but Crystal Palace at home, that's decent. Southampton, I keep misreading this. Southampton away, that's decent. Leicester at home, West Ham away. I think that United have got actually pretty difficult fixtures in my opinion. And of course, Arsenal at home, Liverpool at home. I think in the first 9 game weeks, I think this will be the only loss. But the only game that I think that I could call quite comfortably right now is probably Newcastle away. And that's Man United. That's me thinking that United are going to struggle in the opening 9 fixtures and Newcastle being the only decent fixture. But is Ramsey FPL right? Are United in the top 4 race? Let us know your thoughts in the chat. In fact, talking of chat, before we get back to some more live callers, let's find out what is going on. And surprise, surprise. Typical. Everything's completely gone off when you need it. So let's just leave that for a second. As David Brent says, for any Twitter fans of FPL Partridge, I'm sure you'll appreciate that. Let's just leave that there for any Office fans out there. But let's bring up the old Discord and let's get in another caller. And I think I'm going to go with, I'm not going to pronounce his full name right because it's a bit of a cheeky play on words. But we'll just say Willy W or Willy Wonka. Willy Wonka with an A. So, Willy Wonka with an A. Let's bring you live on air. Please do not swear in a 3, a 2, a 1. Willy, you are live on the Elite FPL call-in. How are you, mate?
I'm good, thank you.
Here we are. Are we going to play Guess the Accent? No, we're not. Where are you from, Willy?
I'm from Sweden.
Ah, interesting.
Yes.
I saw somebody in the Discord earlier from Sweden saying there's a lot of love for this channel over there. I don't know how true that is or not, but welcome. This is fantastic.
Thank you. That's my brother.
Ah, right. Fantastic.
Because he was called the Defender.
Ah, right. Cool. Fantastic. So we got your team up on screen at the moment. Oh. Now this is what we want to see. A bit of controversy, everybody. Superb. So, Matt Ryan in goal. We're going with triple Liverpool defence. Brilliant. So Van Dijk, Robertson and Alexander-Arnold along with Man City's Zinchenko. Sterling, De Bruyne, Fraser, King, Vardy and Wilson. Willy, tell us why you're putting all your faith into 3 teams. This is fantastic.
Yeah, I look at the fixtures, and for first thing, the goalkeeper, to get like 120 points plus for 4.5, I think is really good, and I have a lot of faith in Brighton this year because the new manager, he's like a legend in Sweden.
Right. Okay.
Because he took a team in Division 2 to the highest league, and then he went to Europa League and won over Arsenal at away. So, yeah.
Wow. Okay.
And,
so a bit of nostalgia, love there. A bit of
Yeah, and I think that the way they play, Potter, I think he will play a lot of possession ball, and I think that they will be better getting more clean sheets this year. And for 4.5, I think it's really good to have the combo Ryan Button.
Yeah, I mean, I have to say that Brighton's opening fixtures are actually really, really good. I mean, they kick off with, remind me who they kick off with again. It's a pretty easy fixture. Can you remind me who they've got again?
Watford away.
That's right, yeah, it's quite favourable. And then
it's
is it Aston Villa or something? Let me just bring them up.
It's West Ham home, Southampton home.
Here we
are. Man City away, Burnley at home. So I think I will do, depending on how it goes, I will do a wild card at like game week 5 or 6, depending if it's like a lot of people I don't have that doing good, etc.
So you're somebody like Ramsey FPL that looks like they're going to be wildcarding quite early.
Yeah, well, it depends. I mean, if it's like I need 2 people or 2 players, I can just get them in. But if it's like, I mean, if Bournemouth's doing bad and Vardy's doing bad, I need to rethinking. So, yeah.
I mean, this is going to be a stupid question, I'm aware, but so you're going with triple Liverpool. I get that, but you're not worried about not owning Salah. What?
Well, I have like two thinking. I haven't decided yet if I would go without Salah. I would switch Sterling to Salah and Robertson to Laporte if I do that to get Salah in. But I mean, the defense in Liverpool is so good, and I'm like, can I get the points for Salah somewhere else? I mean, I think if Robertson doing like 200 points plus this year, and Sterling and Salah is like 30 points away of each other, I think I can be out Salah.
So you're unlike Notorious Nerd. You're going to be pretty much captaining Sterling pretty much every week then.
Yeah, exactly. And for the first like 6 games, because I will do wildcard then, I will be rethinking if Salah is going. I mean, I can't like getting behind, so I will rethinking.
I mean, I know again why you've done this, but it'd be interesting to hear your opinion on why you're going with the Bournemouth treble up in attack of Fraser, Wilson, and King. Tell our listeners and audience why you're doing that.
Yeah, I like the attacking threat of those 3, and I of course want at least one. I was the first thought, and then I was thinking. I mean, King on penalty with War and Wilson looked like the first attack, the first threat, and Fraser. I mean, I was thinking if I'm going like 1 or 2 Bournemouth, I will go with like Everton because they have nice features. But I think that. It's like a differential. If I go 3 Bournemouth and it's going well, and a lot of people is going like Sigurdsson that can be like cold for 6 games, I can get ahead for that. And if like Salah getting cold, and like Van Dijk, Alexander-Arnold, and Robertson getting some assisting like Firmino or Mane, I think I can have a good start for the first wild card.
I'm liking your pick of Vardy, to be honest with you. You think Vardy's in for a good solid opening few game weeks?
Yeah, I mean, with the new signings of Pires and Tillerman, I think that instead of like picking Madison, I think with Tillerman it's like they will both do good, but not like one people do really good like Fraser, because I think I don't think that like Fraser and Brooks are gonna like sharing points, but I do think that Tillerman and Madison will, and it's Vardy there with the goals. So I think that he can easily do like 200 points if he's doing well, and I do really think that Leicester this year is going to be a big threat. I think that like we all remember when they won the league, like a wild card, nobody know. I don't think that like they're going to be like top 4 or something, but like top 6. I mean, United and Chelsea, I don't think that they can compete up there for this year.
Oh, you think Chelsea are going to struggle, do you?
I think Chelsea's going to struggle because they have a good defense, but the attacking threat of like Giroud, he's not the starting player, and you know Abraham and Batshuayi, no, and I mean they have signed Pulisic, but yeah, it's a wait and see. I'm actually a Chelsea fan, so I don't think that we will do really good. I think we will do like a Mourinho season when we get like 10th or something.
Wow, that's interesting. As a Chelsea fan, just a quick question on Chelsea then. I mean, there's a bit of chat about potentially Zappacosta being a first teamer at the right back position. What is the likelihood of that? Is it a 50-50? Is it less than that? Is it more? What are your thoughts on that?
I think that if Lampard is thinking like he wants the new that he know that this season is gonna be like a mediocre, and he wants like some new and young people to try and show their skills. I mean, Azpilicueta is like he's old, but he's consistent. 50-50. I mean, maybe they can like not like they're not gonna play like the whole season. I mean, Azpilicueta might play the tough games, and Zappacosta might come in on like some home games. And if he's really good, I mean, he will take the place.
So,
And I also think that Christensen might start the season at 5.0 with Rudiger is he's not back yet.
that's right, yeah.
So could be if like someone is going to do early wild, why not try the thing with Walker Peters? Like you can have like if they're starting, you can have like Sterling and Salah, and you can have really good because you can downgrade your defense but still have like the teams with good clean sheet potential.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. I mean, I was shot down for having, for example, actually talking to Chelsea, having Emerson in my team. I mean, what are your thoughts on Emerson as a very cheap way into that Chelsea defence, and as an attacking left back as well?
He's 5.5, right?
Yes, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, Alonso is kinda not cheap anymore. 6.5 is not. I think that Lampard is gonna pick like more defense around the team. So I think Emerson is a better pick. I don't think that he is set. That wait and see. But if he is taking Alonso's place, yeah.
So
It's like Zinchenko. If set, you can just go for it. I mean, they can. I mean, even if like Chelsea is getting like not top 6, they can get a lot of clean sheets and have some attacking threat. Yeah.
So you're from Sweden, and what brings you to the elite FPL calling, and what keeps bringing you back, basically?
Yeah, actually, this is my first season playing, and I was like getting interested in this FPL stuff like in the middle of last season. So I was like, okay, I will take this half year just studying what's going on here, and then I was like, exactly when the season ended, I was like going to go to YouTube and was trying to find new material with people like you guys, like pre-season stuff, and I really liked the long. It's not like 5 minutes talk. Some videos are like 5 minutes talk. It's more detailed stuff, and I really like the thing with like bringing in people with different opinion of stuff.
Yeah, I mean, how are you finding the Discord aspect of it, in the sense of, is it helping your thought process? Is it hindering it? I mean, I'm looking at that team and I think, do you know what, for your first season, I think that's looking absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, I've been like, in the beginning I was like trying out myself before the prices came, but then when the prices came, I was like minus 3 million.
Yes.
So I was going to Twitter, I was going to YouTube, seeing what people are thinking, and of course it's easy to just like take the template, and then I mean the skill can be what to do when the season starts, or you can try not to think so much about what's talking about Twitter, because if people are on Twitter, it will be automatically that everyone that has Twitter and follow people will have like the same teams, because they will like, okay, that thought was like, yeah, I should have him. Like Yeah. Instead of like, what do I think? I mean,
I applaud you, my friend. I absolutely applaud you, just agreeing with everything I was saying earlier on. One final question. Well, two final questions. Do you think that the game is launched too early, and do you think it should be starting closer to the season?
I think that it should have started a little later, maybe, because when the game launches, like it's a lot of more transfers that is going to happen, and I mean, I think they should start before the preseason matches starts.
Yes.
Because then you don't have to like sit in 10 or 15 days trying to figure out the team, and then you see, oh shit, this player, oh, that player, and that player, okay. And it's like, okay, of course, it's like up to everyone that you don't have to sit 15 days before the preseason and go over your teams 1,000 times. But yeah, I mean, if I had a count, maybe I should have like 200 or 300 drafts.
Well, talk on the final question before we let you go. What is the likelihood of you having this 4-3-3 for game week 1?
Like I say, this is exact template is going to be 50-50 because it's either this or it's Salah and Laporte instead of Robinson. So it's just two players that I might, if I get like cold feet, I can't be without Salah, or I will try to do the 3 Liverpool defense.
Wow, fantastic. That was a great call. Thank you, Willie. Nice
Thank
one.
you very much.
No, thank you.
Bye-bye.
Take it easy. Have you on soon. Bye. There we are,
For
everybody.
points.
Willie there with his... Whoops, what am I doing? Take him off for a second. So there we have it there. What do you think of Willie's team? I really, really like it. 3 Liverpool defenders, going with 2 City attackers instead. Then, of course, the power 3 of King, Wilson and Fraser. I think it's absolutely great, to be honest with you, but let's hear your thoughts in chat, see what's going on. So, talking of chat, let's find out what exactly is going on in there, because I know you're really, really busy. As ever, if you're enjoying the stream, hit that like button right now. It does help. It just shows your support quickly. Also, for any new people watching this specific stream, if you enjoy the content, it just keeps coming and coming. Just hit that subscribe button, hit that notification as well, because like today, they're just completely spontaneous. I just decided to come on live. I just quickly advertised it in the Discord group and on Twitter, and that was it. Our Twitter is @EliteFPL if you want to follow us on there. Usually we just put up polls and everything. Today's polls, actually, talking of which, were quite simple ones. In fact, do you know what? I can bring it up on screen. So, let's bring up, look at that whole new shiny layout on Twitter, everybody. Lovely, isn't it? That's thanks to Alex Vola, who's been helping Jason with some various design works, and they've come up with this beautiful design. But yeah, I've done a couple of polls at the moment. One of them was, so Harry Kane is a premium bandwagon on official FPL. Do we get him in our team? And basically it was a case of absolutely no, it was just one fluke goal, or I've had him in all my drafts already. And then finally, should official FPL launch later, more closer start to the season? If you want to go vote on them, simply go to our Twitter page @EliteFPL and you'll be able to quickly just vote on that, basically. So let's just quickly find out what's going on in chat. Any thought processes going on in here? Finley Horn saying, would you go 5 at the back? I know somebody that would go 5 at the back, Mr. Brett Mollison. He's a big fan of it. Me personally, I think it's a bit too much doing 5 at the back. Personally, I see a lot of value in having some solid midfielders that you know will bring you consistently some points, etc. But I mean, it's a good strategy. They always argue the point about the fact that defenders actually bring in more points, especially the more attacking they become. Notorious Nerd making an interesting point there. Never follow the template. Always have one or two differentials in your starting 11. Yeah, but what's a differential? At the start of the season, nobody knows. Most people, let's be honest, Notorious, they all go with pretty much what everybody else is going with. Although, going on what Willie just had just a second ago in his 4-3-3 formation, putting a lot of eggs in one basket regarding Bournemouth, Man City and Liverpool, and all Liverpool being defenders, I think that's differential. I think that's very, very differential. Alex Volo correcting me there. Welcome to the stream, my friend. Correcting me, saying no, the Twitter was actually all Jason's. My mistake. Sorry, Jason. Didn't realise that there. I'll tell you what we'll do. We will go back live on the old Discord and let's see who wants to come live on air next. I'll tell you what. Let's see whose team I can bring up on. I know there was a Tom FPL. Yep, there he is. So, Tom, we're going to get you live on air in a 3. Please do not swear. A 2, a 1. Tom FPL, you are live on Elite FPL calling. How are you, mate?
Oh, that's me. You alright, Savo?
Yeah, all good, my friend. We'll just
mute this one sec. Yeah, there we go.
The feedback wasn't too bad, actually, ironically, but
stream.
We can hear you loud and clear. We've got your team up on screen at the moment. It's a... look at this. Fantastic. Here we are, Notorious. Now, this is differential. So, I'm not even going to mention the goalkeeper. Everybody seems to be going with the Brighton goalkeeper, interestingly. But we're going with Alexander-Arnold, Coleman and Ake. Wijnaldum.
Yep.
Just going to prick up some ears there.
Well,
Richarlison.
I've just quickly changed that.
Oh, we'll go into that in a minute.
It's now. Go on, carry on.
All right, so it's not Wijnaldum now, but up on the screen now it's
Or
Wijnaldum.
Richarlison.
Right. We'll go into that in a second. Okay, so it's not Richarlison, not Wijnaldum, De Bruyne, Fraser. Have you got any of them two left?
Yeah.
Fantastic. And then your front three of Kane, Aguero, and Wilson. Right.
Yep.
So you've changed Wijnaldum and Richarlison. Let's get back on track here. So Wijnaldum and Richarlison have changed. Who have you brought in instead?
Milner and Sigurdsson. Just literally like for like.
The simple question is, why have you done that?
Well, talking to the boys in the waiting room, and free kicks and penalties, Sigurdsson and Milner.
You think Milner's going to
Both
start?
on them. Yeah. Well, it's meant to be his last season, isn't it? So, I think he said something this morning about how he's worried that it'll be his last season at Liverpool. So, hopefully Klopp pays him.
Wow. Okay. So, what are your thought processes with rather than going with Sterling and Salah, you're going with Kane and Aguero? Have you been caught up in this Kane halfway line goal bandwagon, or have you had him in your drafts for quite a while?
I bought him in literally the day before he scored the halfway line goal.
Okay.
Took me half an hour to bring him in.
What do you mean by that?
I think my old draft had Salah, Sterling, and I thought, oh, everyone's going for him, and if neither of them score, then I'm just going to be in the same place as everyone else. But Kane versus Villa and Aguero versus West Ham, I thought, if them two score and people don't have them, then I'm going to be right up there straight away.
Yeah, I mean, I have high hopes for Kane to do very well versus Aston Villa. I certainly think that he's going to get a double-digit points return for certain. I do like the captaincy choice you're going there. You're going with De Bruyne. I mean, Notorious Nerd is somebody that's, well, he's going with Sane. I mean, what are your thoughts on him having Sane in his team?
Well, Sane's more likely to get rotated out, isn't he, to be honest? I mean, De Bruyne has got, Silva and maybe Foden. But Sane's got Mahrez, Sterling, potentially Bernardo Silva, all to compete with. And I think it's more likely that De Bruyne's going to be that place holder at cam over Sane at left wing or left forward.
You haven't fallen into the Josh King penalty taking trap there. You're going with Wilson. How come you're going with Wilson instead of Josh King, and maybe using that 2.5, whatever
1.5.
Is it 1.5? Yeah, of course, 1.5 to upgrade maybe Ake as an example.
Well, I had King in, and then I had 1.5 left over exactly. And I thought, Wilson, yeah, he's had those 2 ACL injuries over the past 2 seasons. But I don't think Bournemouth are gonna have as many penalties. Everyone seems to be going for penalty takers, which I've done with Milner and Sigurdsson, and maybe Aguero. But I just think for 1.5 million more.
And what keeps bringing you back, and what do you enjoy about the Discord group?
Well, I don't know. I only really started playing FPL this season.
Oh wow! So another person has just started. Okay.
So I've literally I'd found you on the first day. I'd literally just typed in FPL, first draft, and yours came up first. So I thought, I'll watch one of the live streams when it comes on. And then I thought, this is a bit long, isn't it? About 2 hours in. And then 3 hours later, well, an hour later, I was like, yeah, these seem alright, you know. Steamer's not that bad.
What do you think of the live stream format? Do you enjoy it?
We were just discussing it in the waiting room, and we said it's probably the best thing to do, for the community. Because, you can go, I was on Reddit this morning, and it was just boring. It was just, rate my team, and people not even discussing it. Whereas on here, you get people on to have a conversation with you.
Yes. Yeah.
And then, everyone can sort of, you can look at the chat at the same time and see what people are saying.
Yeah.
And then while you're waiting, talk to a few of the lads before.
Yeah, I completely agree. And I think this whole new format of bringing people like yourself on really brings the community a lot more closer together. Just one, I've been asking all our callers, and I'm going to ask you exactly the same questions. Do you think that the game is launched too soon? And do you think it should be released a bit more closer to the start of the season?
I mean, think about it. It's either release it early and give everyone, I know pre-season doesn't really matter, but give people more time to, change their teams, or it's bring them in, launch it 1-2 weeks before, and just have everyone on it, and potentially have the risk of the app closing down because there's too much stuff on it.
Oh, so you're thinking a bit like what I was thinking why they release it quite early, is to kind of not have things like that happen to it. And that's an interesting point.
I think they did release it too early though. If it was released today, I would have been quite happy because at least some of the transfers have come in, and it's taken them 3-4 days to put the transfer players on. And if that, say someone someone signs 2 days before, and everyone's wanting them in their team, and then they can't have them until game week 2 because they can't add him in time, and then it ends up they've go and bag a hat-trick in the first game. It's what's the point? I could have got, 20 odd points. Now I'm getting none, and I've got to wait till next week, and then they'll go and blank.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. And
look, we were saying in the chat, with Wilson and stuff, he's got a chance of blanking. But swapping him out for a West Ham player or something like Haller or Fraser for Anderson or something. So you've got a chance that they still might blank. But it's what it is at the end of the day. You've got to find those differentials to get you the points.
Yeah, and exactly, I couldn't agree more. So one final question before we let you go. What is the likelihood of this being your game week 1 team?
About 1%. Like, I've changed it 3 times. Like, I changed it 3 times over the weekend. I changed it, I think, every day twice last week.
But can I ask
And I
you
just
though,
can't settle.
why you're changing it? But just to add to that, who are the players that are always in the team though while you're changing it?
Wilson, Fraser, Sigurdsson or Richarlison, Trent, Coleman, Ake, Ryan.
Oh, so really you're predominantly
So,
debating
it's
over Kane, Aguero, De Bruyne then?
Yeah, and Milner.
Yeah. So of
But
those,
I think sort of would like the bench players are gonna have to stay because they're the cheapest ones. I can't really bring in I could bring in 2 4.5 defenders, but if I want to like upgrade Milner, I've sort of got to think of dropping Kane or Aguero.
and I'm assuming you don't want to be doing that.
No, not at all.
Interesting thought process. Who do you support, just of interest?
Birmingham City.
Oh, so not an Aston Villa. Fair enough. I was going to... Maybe if you're an
No.
Aston Villa fan or maybe even a Wolves fan, you may have been giving us some insight into that. But it
Someone
doesn't
said
matter.
for 5.5, there's barely any like good midfield. And then we looked, and he said, "Oh, is that John McGinn from Villa?" And I said, "I'm not having John McGinn in my team. I don't care. I don't care, right? If bagged a hat trick 3 weeks in a row, I'm not bringing. He's not coming into my team. Nor's Grealish." And I was happy when he got punched.
Fantastic.
Very happy.
Tom, you've been a star, mate. Thank you for coming live on air.
Alright.
Nice one, dude.
I'll come back next time, man.
Yeah, I'm sure we'll be doing a live stream at some point. Probably tomorrow. Cheers,
Alright.
dude. Take it
See
easy.
ya.
Take it easy. There we are, Tom. Tom there. What do you think of his team, everybody? What do you think of his team going with a very top-heavy strike force? It's very rare that you're seeing it this season of Kane, Aguero and Wilson. Very interesting talking about. And of course his choice of actually going with Milner in his team. I know people are going to be kicking their laptops, throwing the phones on. How dare he bring in a Liverpool player that isn't Robertson, Van Dijk or Salah? How dare he do this? His team. His team. He came up with a reasoning as to why he wants to choose Milner. And that's his reasoning as to why he's doing it. Admittedly, he's changing his team over and over again. But, point withstanding, he's set on a core amount of players in his team no matter what. And admittedly, he said that Milner, Ronaldo, whatever, are chopping and changing. But, no, good on the lad. I think fair play to him. If that's what he wants to go with, he wants to go with that. Vince Chapman instantly saying Milner's a bit of a headache. You never know. You just never know. Talking to the chat, let's find out what's going on, everybody. Yeah, I again, Vince Chapman making a point. Go big or go home, and I think certainly that the opening 2-3 fixtures, it really is just quite simply. Just absolutely go for it and just see what's what. I mean, thinking logically, you can in some ways just think to yourself, right, let's just select a game week 1 team and then maybe wildcard in game week 2. You know, Daniel Jaman, they're all about Sergio and Salah. So obviously you're a fan of Sergio apart from Sterling. Interesting there. FPL, yeah, Pitch, welcome to the stream. Thank you. Be really good this year if De Bruyne can stay fit and become captain. Will really shake the Sterling choice up. Yes, I agree. I think that if he can stay fit for 80-90% of the season, his returns could be phenomenal. The only downside to Kevin De Bruyne is that you have to own him for virtually the whole season. You can't. He's one of those players that you can't be swapping in and out for the simple fact that you just have. I made this point about him before. He's one of those players where if you decide to bring him in on game week 1 and he delivers, then fantastic. However, if he doesn't deliver the next 2 and you think, right, I've got to get rid of him, he's more than likely going to deliver in the 4th game. He's just one of those players where his assist potential is so high. We're talking like double figures for assists. Goals aren't so great, to be fair, but at least we know he can come up with the odd goal here or there. But I think that certainly Kevin De Bruyne is a season keeper rather than someone that if he doesn't score for the first couple of games, right, I'm sick of him, let's get him gone. Anyhow, on to more callers, and it's Phil. Phil, we're going to be bringing you live on air. Please do not swear, but no, this is a very, very controversial one. Phil saying he's got 3.5 million in the bank left. So Phil, we're going to bring you live on air in a 3, a 2. Oh, Phil, you need to turn the stream down. Let's let him turn the stream down. So yeah, anybody that comes live on air, please turn your stream down and we'll be able to have a coherent conversation without having any background noise or basically hearing my echo. But Phil will give you a 5, a 4. So Phil, are you there?
Hi Steve-O, how's it going, bud?
Hello Phil. Now I'm going to do the old detecting an accent there. Is this an Australian accent?
No, this is London.
I always get them two confused. Right then, Phil. So, bit of an interesting one here. You've got 3.5 in the bank. We'll bring your team up on screen right now. Let's see why there's only 3.5.
Yeah, go on. You can give me all the abuse for not having Sterling. And
it won't be me. It won't be me giving the abuse. I can get less. You're a rival to me. It's the people in chat that always get offended. But, well, this is fantastic. I can't wait to get your thoughts on this. So, for people listening on audio, remember this is 3.5 left in the bank. I can imagine why. But so we're going with Fabianski, Alexander-Arnold, Van Dijk, Digne, Ben Davies, FPL Booners, ears will prick up there. Perez, Fraser, Sigurdsson, De Bruyne, King, Vardy, and then on the bench we've got Ake, Yarmolenko and Greenwood. So, Phil, what is going on here? Why such a differential squad? Interesting.
Well, you got to break the template at times, Steve. You can't. You watch all these streams. Everyone's got Sterling. Everyone's got Salah. You just got to try something different.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. You've certainly gone different. It doesn't worry you that you don't earn 2 of the best performing FPL assets over the last couple of seasons?
Well, I think while they're still both at 12.5, I can afford to give 2 free game weeks, maybe 5, until I use my wild cards, and then reassess what's going on there. I think you've got Everton; they could go on a good run at the start. West Ham after their Man City game, they could go on a good run. There's just so many unknowns at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, you're confident though in having Fraser as captain in game week 1. I mean, I'm assuming you're going to be changing this team and everything, but
ignore the captain. That's just on there where the game set it.
Yeah.
If from that, I'd be tempted by either King or De Bruyne from that lineup.
So, the big question for me is why Ben Davies? Are you a Tottenham fan? Is it a bit of club bias, or is it just the fact that
I believe it might have been Jason and Dan talking about him the other night. I just think he's a different option. Not last season, but the season before. He was possibly one of the best players in the Tottenham team.
I agree, yeah. Performed really well for Swansea as well.
Yeah. The other thing I may do is possibly go Lloris as a set and forget keeper and then change Davis to someone else. Because then I've also got Ake that can play in the first 2 game weeks. But I'm trying to set my team up. I see a lot of, there was a team on earlier that had 3 City, Liverpool, 3 Bournemouth and 2 Everton. I just think that's too many eggs in one basket.
Yeah, I think that, I don't know, I mean, I'm going for a different strategy this season where I'm thinking, shall I play the fixtures rather than just playing the players for because normally how I set up a game is that it's the players for the eggs and all in one basket, but then after that period of time, it's a case of, well, you're going to have to be constantly swapping and changing, possibly. But overall, though, this 4-4-2, you're pretty confident with, and you think that, like you said, you're going to assess how everything's happening and stuff, and then, I mean, of the four, I mean, obviously it's who's going to be the less performing player, but I would have thought that who you're more aiming at, Salah or Sterling as the person?
Sterling.
Oh, wow.
Sterling over Salah every day.
Why is that?
Because Salah screwed me over in his first season. So I never put him back in.
Can you, I don't know, tell any brief anecdotes about how he screwed you over?
I can't remember if he was going good at the start, and then I think from week 6, 7 and 8 he just blanked, weren't doing nothing. Yeah, I don't need this guy. I can get rid of him. I can move things around, get rid of him, and then I think he goes back-to-back hat tricks or something. So
yeah, all the stats guys came out and said, we told you we'd do it. It's just like, get lost.
As it goes, it's cause of you that I'm tempted by Sterling, because you say about his great form against Bournemouth.
Yes.
And they've got them week 3.
Yeah, he's and also against West Ham as well. He's got excellent form versus West Ham, and obviously he scored 2 goals versus them in pre-season as well. Is that it's going to be deja vu coming up in game week 1? That's the question. So, like I said, I've been asking the callers the same old question. I'm sure you've heard it a million times now, but do you think the game was launched too early, and do you think it should be launched a bit more closer to the season?
I'd say it could have been released maybe a week or so later, but then you guys would just be sat there doing your price prediction videos for a week. But yeah, I mean, it is good. It gives time to let everyone know they can settle down what moves they want to make. I'd say maybe 2 to 3 weeks. Maybe 7 of my players are pretty cemented in.
Oh, which 7?
The Liverpool defenders, Sigurdsson, Fraser, Perez, and then it's De Bruyne or Sterling.
You're confident with Perez this year than at Leicester?
I just think he's going to slot in just behind Vardy as like a striker sort of role. Out of position in midfield, it's got to be worth the value. You get the bonus points on a clean sheet for him as well. It's worth chancing. But, and then you can easily go to Mad or to Tielemans as well from there.
Phil, you're a brave man, and it'll be great to have you back on the show as we approach game week 1 and see if the teams change to Salah and Sterling in the midfield.
Cool, Steve. No worries. Thanks
Cheers,
for getting
Phil.
me on,
Thank you.
Great work as well by all the boys. Yeah, keep it
Thank
up.
you. Cheers, Phil. There we
No
are.
worries. Take care.
Phil there live on air with his team, a very controversial team, let's be honest here. Be interested to see instantly what people are thinking in the live chat straight away. FPL Booner, Ben Davis could start given Rose may be on his way out, but just watch out, Ryan Sessegnon could be on his way in. Well, there we are. FPL Booner thinking that basically Ryan Sessegnon could be coming into play there. Do you think, FPL Booner, while you're there, if Sessegnon did join you, do you think that he would be do you think he'll be starting? So yeah, so we've got quite a lot of people viewing this live at the moment. Clearly you're enjoying the stream. If you could just quite simply hit that like button and just show your support for what me, Dan and Jason do. Admittedly it's just me here at the moment, but we are a threesome. We do work in together. It's just, as I keep banging on about, it's just unfortunate circumstances that the three of us can't actually get together. But what I will tell you is, please do not quote me on this, but some of you may roll your eyes, some of you may be like, yes, content every day. I am potentially going to be streaming every day up until next week Friday. Okay, so I'll repeat that again. There is a possibility that I will be streaming every single day up until next week Friday. It's not a guaranteed or anything, but it was a thought process that went through my head where, as a couple of people have mentioned already, that they really, really enjoy the live stream format, and it's just the basic interaction with everybody that basically makes you guys keep coming back. And I'm seriously thinking, do you know what? Let's do it. I've got time on my hands, and obviously there will be days where Jason and I could definitely do it. The reason why I'm leaving Dan out is because Dan's on a business trip at the moment, and we don't know Dan's specific availability. So, however, we do know about Jason's availability, and usually it's in the evening. So actually, what's going to be really interesting is it'll be evening streams. So yes. Anyhow, let's get back in chat and let's find out what's going on. We did have Papa Smurf in chat, but he's in fact, Papa Smurf has just made a comment, which is I love it. Papa Smurf, love your content as usual, Stephen. There's always a few gems to be gleaned from your stream. Yeah, I don't know if you saw my rant earlier on, but yeah, it's kind of why I'm doing this live stream today, to be honest with you, about this whole, you get shot down for doing the template, you get shot down for going differential, you just can't win. And as people have been saying, it's like, well, if we all had the same team, we're all gonna win. There's no prizes for everybody. But Seb Littlewood here asking Bernardo Silva, Kevin De Bruyne or Sane for my midfield. Well, if you're asking a Notorious Nerd, he is going to go with Sane. So there we are. Cameron Rawcliffe, aka FPL Kid on Instagram. Will you be doing a live stream just before the Liverpool-Norwich game? Would love to tune in before the season starts. The reality is that, simply put, the majority of the specific solo streams is that they're all spontaneous. And I know that's not exactly good for business, but at the end of the day, I'm just a normal bloke chatting with you lot about fantasy football, and that's what we all want. And I'm happy to do it. My shifts are all over the place, so, and I may not be available because there is a Planet FPL podcast being done somewhere in London. I don't know specifically where, but basically their plan is to do another live broadcast, and it's in somewhere in London, and it's going to be on that. Oh no, you meant Liverpool Norwich. Sorry, that's on a Friday. Right, so actually, what am I thinking? I completely lost the plot. Right, so actually, the simple answer is there's a very, very high percentage of that happening. Basically, because it's on a Friday evening, and I know for a fact that I don't have to wake up at a stupid time in the morning on Saturday. So actually, there's a very, very high chance of certainly happening with me. What I want to do is, now you've brought that to my attention, actually, what I want to do is actually do a rate my team on the day the game's launched. So, but more specifically, it would be with the teams that enter our Cash Mini League. So again, anybody that wants to enter our Cash Mini League and you're part of the Discord group, just find out the information in the Discord group and you'll be able to find out how to enter our Cash Mini League. But yeah, certainly I'd be thinking of doing it then for sure. Right, well, Papa Smurf is back live in the waiting room, and we will get Papa Smurf live on air. So Papa Smurf will give you a 3, a 2. Papa Smurf, you are live on the Elite FPL call-in. Welcome to the stream, my friend. How can we help you?
Go on, Steve. Well, you're right.
Yeah, I'm all good, my friend. I was trying to see if you had a team in my Rate My Team. I couldn't see anything per se, But if you aren't wanting me to rate my team, what do you want to talk about?
I actually didn't know how to submit it, but I've got it here in front of me.
Okay, if you want to read it
so
out, by all means.
We've got Pope in goal with Woodman as the backup. Going for a 4.0 keeper that's sort of well chosen by a lot of people, because the tendency is then first wild card that comes along, that goalkeeper's value is going to go down 0.1 just on a decision like that, for instance. At the back, I've got Alexander-Arnold, Coleman, Zinchenko, and Van Dijk.
Yep.
So those four there. Then on the bench, I've actually got Hanley from Norwich.
All right.
Is a little bit overlooked because he is the captain, and he's going to be starting games and definitely getting you points, probably a lot more consistently than Kelly would. And there. In midfield at the moment, it's a Salah-less team. I've got Sigurdsson, Sterling, Perez, and Fraser.
So
and then up top we've
Sigurdsson,
got
Sterling,
Sterling, Perez, and Fraser.
Yeah.
And then up top I've got Guerrero and Wilson, with the usual suspects, Den Donker as the midfield substitute, and Greenwood as the forward substitute. And for having Aguero over Salah is just in terms of just being able to move down pretty much to any other striker, for instance, or Aguero to a Jota, for instance, at a later stage in one move. And then I could always get Salah in if he really bangs and if he really does well. Option there, but if I invest too heavily into either defense or too heavily into midfield or too heavily into my forward line, I just feel that the tendency is then you're going to be making a lot more transfers instead of having sort of the straight end of a transfer. Sort of my thinking on it.
Yeah, I mean, we've got at the moment, up on screen at the moment, we've got this Handy. So just tell us again, what are your thoughts on this Handy and why you think he's got a better chance starting ahead of Martin Kelly, as an example? And
well, again, he's the captain, and he's going to be playing a lot of games for Norwich. I'm not a fan myself, but sort of one of the members of one of the fantasy content creators has highlighted him as being a little bit of a secret gem. So I just thought I'd bring him out there to highlight him as another option, because with Kelly we're still not 100% sure if Crystal Palace are going to be bringing in another player there. So just wanted to put Hanley out there as an alternative in our 4.0 sort of definite to start. For those that haven't yet caught on to him.
See, straight away, this is exactly why I love doing this live calling, because I would never in a million years have considered this Grant Hanley, and now you've just brought him to my attention. Do you know what? I'm going to do a live transfer, and because of you, I'm going to bring him in. Because at the end of the day, we are wanting somebody who's a guaranteed 4 million starter, and based on what you're saying, you feel that he's going to be a guaranteed. Yeah, let's do it. Let's just bring him in. At the end of the day, he's never gonna get used. So I'll happily bring him in for now. I know the whole of the chat is going to go absolutely mad. Why are you bringing him in a Norwich defender? But whatever. So, like you said, you're not going with Salah. Is there a specific reason as to why you're not going with Salah?
Sorry, I didn't hear your question there.
I was just asking, you're not going with Salah, specifically, why are you not going with Salah?
again, like I could be stacking my midfield. I could easily get rid of Aguero up front and put Salah in my midfield. It's not a 100% sort of set thing yet. But I also feel that from the beginning, if we go fully template, then the entire sort of Twitter community and maybe sort of the inner circles of people that follow FPL to the extent that perhaps you do and many others that love the game do. I feel that those kind of people are going to have a similar template sort of team. So I'm looking for differentials already from day one, and I don't think the difference between Aguero and Salah in the matches leading up to perhaps everyone's wild card is going to be so large that I'm going to necessarily be lagging behind. If it is, if Salah indeed starts straight away with a bang and Aguero is nowhere to be seen, I feel that be made without too many moves should that happen. But this way I feel like I might be able to have a little bit of a differential pick. There's not much to choose between them if you're not just looking at the whole season. If you're looking at a few fixtures, there's nothing to make me feel that, apart from maybe the first game that everybody's going on about, that Salah is necessarily going to perhaps 8 games of the season. Maybe
So you're
national break, so to speak.
yeah.
Where many of us are going to wild card.
You're another team that has Perez in. You're confident of Perez this season performing well for Leicester.
Yeah, I've watched Leicester's preseason games carefully, and it seems that Perez is getting a lot more, let's say, ball possession in the box and chances in the box than Tielemans is, who I saw you have in your team. Tielemans seemed to have been playing a deeper role. Admittedly, in the first game, Maddison wasn't on the pitch, so Tielemans was almost filling a Maddison-like, slightly deeper set role, sort of playmaker off of Vardy extremely nicely. I also saw that Perez had an extremely good play with Pereira on the right wing. It was really, apart from the goal that he scored, he was Max on goal that looked very, very so that, you know, a player who was downgraded from a striker to a midfielder again has a greater chance of doing well than if we bring in a Delafeu, for instance, up front, which many have done, who was sort of classified as a striker, where I feel points over the season, and Perez perhaps will be getting more points. So for me, Perez is the obvious pick in Leicester. Pick that is, of course, Vardy up front. I mean, I've got Wilson, but Vardy up front is a very sort of tangible option that I can also see having in my team.
I mean,
the most forward or the most straightforward pick.
It's funny because as we're live on air now, I've actually genuinely just done that transfer because this information is gold. The fact that you're telling us as an audience that Perez is just basically one of the pretty much sticking right up front with Vardy, and Tielemans playing a bit deeper, and I've just thought, well, this information is gold. I mean, I'm looking at your team. I mean, basically it's my team minus Salah on the screen at the moment. I mean, we've got exactly the same defence. Admittedly, I've just put in Hanley. I don't own Sigurdsson, I'm going with Fraser. And up front, instead of Aguero, I've got Giroud at the moment. Again, this is just some team I've just put together. But, I mean, how many years have you been playing the fantasy football for?
Honestly speaking, this is only my second season. But just like the Swedish caller we had earlier on, I've spent a lot of time in this last sort of second half of last season. Sort of forums like Fantasy Football Hub, like Fantasy Football Scout, and I'm a member on most of those forums. So with chats, we're talking to some of the best players, in the, you could say, in the game, and looking at or correlating some of their ideas has really helped me in terms of my thinking on the game. It's not like my team is this gem or anything, but I feel like going forward, I kind of know where I'm going. I know that, like you mentioned, Salah could still be an option, and obviously none of us have finished tinkering. But I'm also thinking, just like that Swedish caller we had earlier on, we must think of what the metagame or sort of the template with is going to be. And if we veer off of that template in the hopes of maybe going ahead of the pack, then we must do so with players that are definite gems and definite sort of value players in FPL. And Aguero, I don't feel is taking a huge gamble there. Whereas guys that are putting all their money on King up front, for instance, I feel is a much bigger risk than having Aguero instead of Salah. And you've mentioned a good point. Like for instance, Sigurdsson, I feel not so 100% sure about. If we're looking from game week 1 to our first wild card, is he really going to be the one there? I've also got thoughts of perhaps downgrading him to a Lucas Moura, perhaps, who will get 2 good games in before Son comes in, or perhaps taking a gamble on Richarlison, who notoriously has a very, very good start to the season. So those are still thoughts that I want to polish, but I do feel that the stones of the reasons why I choose perhaps a Perez at the 6.5 level, which is sort of your more lower budget midfielders, are sort of locked in my team.
So I'm not going to guess at your accent because I wouldn't have a clue. But where are you calling us from?
I'm calling from Switzerland.
Wow.
And I lived in the UK for a long time and also in Africa for a long time. So the accent is a little bit of a mix and match of
Wow.
and British, I guess.
I've noticed your name a lot in the Discord group and everything, and it's just fantastic that you keep coming back. I mean, what does keep bringing you back to the Discord group, and what do you think of this format of having live callers on air like yourself discussing your team?
I mean, I think that was sort of a brilliant masterstroke on behalf of you guys coming up with that, because realistically, I would say the danger on the one hand is, like always with these kind of things, there can be a lot of content and you have to kind of sieve and filter through the content to get the few gems, like I mentioned earlier on, out of it. But I feel that you've got some top players like FPL Buna. Obviously, the 3 of you are good players. Davey FPL, some of these sort of really top quality who do join the Discord and do join your stream. And so if we can kind of pick out the key thoughts and the key ideas from those top players rather than just listening to everybody in detail, if we can filter properly, then I think our stream is extremely useful. And to people who can't filter, it might be a little bit of a distraction. But if you're good at filtering, if you know exactly, okay, this thought is valid because I haven't thought about that, like you were doing now, when somebody gives you insight, I think all of us have the room to improve and the room to take on board information, and that's what it gives us a platform to do. So I'm extremely grateful for it. I really value it, and I feel a lot of us are thankful for the fact that you do it so regularly, because many of us maybe have a work environment that allows us to spend a little bit more than just 5 minutes a day tinkering with our team or exchanging thoughts with other players about how we can improve our season.
Yeah, I just sat here listening, like I was in podcast mode then, just listening and just enjoying what you were saying. It was just a fantastic little. Are you just of interest? Are you part of the Cash Mini League?
I'm not. No. Honestly speaking, I feel like to some extent I first want to see if this season all my thought processes and all the time that I have invested in the game towards the sort of second half of last season is going to come to fruition by me getting a rank that is in agreement with the ambitions that I have for the game. So if I end anywhere above 50k, then I'd probably be very, very disappointed. So I'm definitely spending a lot of time on it, and I feel that I have sort of a lot of strategies going into the season as well that I want to execute in order to boost my rank. And once I finish this season, sort of where I want to be at, then next season will be the season where I consider that, But for this season, I feel like I don't really want to invest.
That's awesome. Papa Smurf, you're more than welcome to come back live on air the next time we're doing this. Thank you so much for joining us.
Much appreciated. Thanks for your time, Steve-O. Thanks for doing what you guys do. Really appreciate it as well.
Cheers, dude. Take it easy, mate.
Yeah.
Right,
Ciao,
bye.
ciao.
There we are. Papa Smurf there coming up with some very, very interesting thought process. And what I've taken away from that is this. I'm happy that I've got the same team as him. Very, very, like, genuinely was just caught up in the moment then, hearing Papa Smurf speak. And it was like I said, it was almost like I was listening to a podcast while doing a podcast. Really, really interesting information there. I hope you guys got a lot out of that, like I just did, because I really, really thoroughly enjoyed that. Those points that Papa Smurf made. So we're going to bring on the Defender. The Defender live on the Elite FPL call-in. The Defender, we've got your team up in the Rate My Team section. Here we go in a 3, a 2. The Defender, you are live on Elite FPL call-in. How are you, my friend?
Hello.
Hello there. Welcome to the stream. So we got.
Thank you.
No, thank you, my friend. So we got your team up on screen at the moment,
Yeah.
and this is fascinating. I'm going to be so fascinated if you actually go through with this. But for anybody listening on audio, here we go. As ever, I'll read out, and then Defender, you can go through with what your thought processes are. So straight away, we're going to go with Matt Ryan in goal, Van Dijk, Trent Alexander-Arnold, Digne, Fraser, Solomon March of Brighton, De Bruyne, Maddison. Here we go, everybody. Harry Kane, Jimenez, Aguero, but the Defender has hit that triple captain button on Harry Kane. Defender, the forum is yours. Take it away, my friend. What is your thoughts on going with triple captain Kane on game week 1?
Well, I haven't decided that yet, but I think that could be a good guess for. I mean, triple captain are always like, you gamble.
Yes.
And if you look at the fixtures in the future, I mean, why not take the pain off for the first game? If it hits, yeah. If it's not, yeah.
So you're another team that's come on air, which I'm interested in if this bandwagon will ever take off, and not having Sterling or Salah. Well, why is the simple answer?
Well, for first thing is like the differential, trying to find the points elsewhere. And you mean, you can look at the last seasons and try to figure out what's gonna happen in the beginning of next season, but it doesn't always end like that. So I try to pick some picks that I think could do as good as them. So. Yeah.
An interesting pick you've gone with, I'm going to bring him up on screen in a second, is Solomon March. Why him? Are you confident with Brighton players?
Well, I'm thinking about downgrading Jimenez to Jota and picking Gross, but at the moment I'm thinking of Marsh now that when Knockhart is leaving.
Yeah.
If it's someone cheap I want to could do 135 points like Brooks, I think that's him, and that's 1.5 million less.
Yeah, I mean, last season he got 1 goal, 6 assists. He's like you said, he's £5 million. He's not much money, and the fact that, like you said, Knockhart has gone. Admittedly, he didn't do much last season for Brighton. Plus, their fixtures aren't too bad. Watford away, West Ham at home, Southampton at home. I mean, it's just a Man City game, and we can sack that off straight away. But yeah, I mean, another thing that springs to mind is the fact that you're going with 3 heavy-hitting strikers in Aguero, Kane, and Jimenez. The simple question is, why go with 3 heavy-hitting strikers?
Well, for first thing, I have been watching Salah in the African Cup, and I don't. Of course, he can hit form in the beginning, but I think that Kane's goal in the end of the Juventus game brought me thinking that now when he has have time to get fit, he would be like killing it, and everyone without him sitting with Salah that in the last game couldn't even get past their defender. I mean,
Sorry to interrupt. It's very, very interesting you bring this up. Someone mentioned the other day, I forget who it was, that Salah was struggling in the last game that he was playing in the African Cup of Nations. You're someone else that saw this and picked this up and is thinking, actually, I'm a bit dubious about Salah.
yeah, I mean, Mane might be away for like the first games, and if they are not together, they might perform worse. So it's of course a bit of a gamble, but you have Kane, Aguero, both of them can like steamroll like hat tricks. I think it's a more possibility that Kane and Aguero do like 3 goals against Aston Villa and 3 goals against West Ham than like Salah doing that and Sterling.
Yeah, I mean, everybody had their issues with Kane last season, dropping a lot deeper, but now they've got Ndombele. Does that give you even more confidence that Kane is going to do really well this season?
Yeah, I have been like watching a lot of this Ndombele, and I really like him. And I think that now when also when Eriksen is staying and Trippier is leaving, he will be on set pieces. A lot of set piece threat with the head, Kane, and I think that he could hit his form and do like 230, 240 plus points if he gets not get injured.
So, I keep saying this line, I'm detecting an accent. I'm never going to make a great cop, am I? But where exactly are you from, and what brings you to the Elite FPL calling?
I'm from Sweden.
Another fellow Sweden. Hello. We were told by Willie's brother that we're quite a lot of people from Sweden actually watch this stream. I mean, how long have you been actually watching this our channel for? And what keeps bringing you back?
Actually, Willy Wonka is my brother.
Ah, right. Were you the guy that was talking about our stream earlier on in the Discord?
No.
Was that another brother?
No, my brother was here and he called me and said that you were live. So I went live, and he said that he had been with you here and talking, and I thought that maybe I could share my points because we share the point of not having Salah, but we have like different teams.
That's brilliant. So the question is, what is the likelihood of you going with this team on game week 1?
I will need to watch some more of Brighton, with Potter. He's legend here, so his attacking. I think that Brighton can be the new Bournemouth with Gross and Marsh, and maybe they should try to find a new striker because Glenn is kind of old. But yeah, I think that with the possession play and attacking threat they have, I think that and attacking Brighton is better than like having some defense.
Well, you're certainly giving confidence to Brighton fans if there are any Brighton fans listening. So you're actually thinking that Graham Potter's going to bring an attacking style to Brighton?
Yeah, absolutely. They will try to play like Pep did in Bayern München. He did that in Östersund in Sweden, and he the team in our highest division couldn't counter that. Like it's hard to counter Pep, and even if he has kind of bad players versus others, I think that he could somehow do good. Not that they will be relegated, that some people think.
So you've gone with Maddison. You're not tempted with the Perez or Tielemans bandwagon. You're happy with Maddison being that key player that he is for Leicester.
Yeah, I think that when you looking at the stats he did, and I just think that he could actually do a Fraser, do like 180 points this season, and I think that even if I have Fraser, I kinda don't think that, like my brother did, triple up is a good idea on them. But yeah, we have different thoughts.
Defender, mate, I can only thank you for coming on the show, and you're more than happy to come back on whenever we're live.
Thank you very much.
No, thank you. Take it easy, dude.
Bye.
Bye. There we are. The Defender there coming live on air discussing his team there. Very, very interesting. Very interesting possibility of triple captaining Kane. Now, a lot of people have been talking about possibly triple captain Salah, who the Defender has already said, along with, I forget who it was, mentioning that Salah looked a bit dodgy in the final game for Egypt against whoever they were playing. Is Salah looking tired? Is Salah needing a rest? Is he going to be up to speed? Could it be wise that we get rid of Salah and do bring him a premium striker instead, like Harry Kane, like Aguero, and maybe put in someone like De Bruyne, upgrade our defence? Interesting. This is what I love, these interesting thought processes. Really, really interesting, and it's always good to have different ideas from people, and that is certainly different, I've got to say. Now, I've got Bicky on the waiting room at the moment. I know for a fact that they put up their team in the Rate My Team. The question is, where did they put it? It's the usual answer, isn't it? It's always going to be about 50 miles away in the Rate My Team, but we'll go and bring Bicky up in a minute. But yeah, guys, what are your thoughts on potentially using a triple captainship in game week 1? Like Defender said, Harry Kane, it's a punt, but it's certainly worth that punt when at the end of the day, it's Aston Villa at home. Tottenham's first game at home at the new White Hart Lane. I can see Harry Kane doing well, and with all the amount of failed triple captainships that happen every single season, why not put it on a single game week? But so we got Bicky's team in the Discord. We're going to bring Bicky live on air. Bicky in a 3, a 2. Bicky, you're live on Elite FPL Call-In. Welcome to the stream. How are you? Hello, Bicky. We've got your team up on screen. Going with a 3, a 5-3-2. No, you're not there. What a shame. Bicky is not there. What we can do though is I'll just quickly go over the team itself just quickly. I think they've gone a bit shy, but it doesn't matter. So we got Pope in goal, a 5-man premium defence. Interesting. Alexander-Arnold, Robertson, Coleman, Digne. Double up on the 2 Merseyside teams. There's Zinchenko. Nice 3-man midfield of Salah, Sterling and Sigurdsson, and then up front, Wilson and King. Very, very interesting. You know, Brett Mollison will be liking that 5-man defence there. He'll be liking that a lot. But, Vicky, if you want to come live on air, just let me know, and away we go. And let's just see what's quickly happening in chat. Tell you what, I think today's stream has gone really, really well. There's been some really, really helpful callers today. I think I can only thank you for giving us that insight into, well, basically your thought process. I think it's been absolutely brilliant, to be honest with you. And what I will say is that for everybody that's watching this stream, hit that like button. Just show your support, show your appreciation for the live streams that we're doing. I'll make this quick plug if you are watching and this isn't your first time, but you continue to keep coming back. Hit that subscribe button, hit that notification button, because we are only a few subscribers away from hitting that magic 1,000. And as Dan said, so we're 9 away from hitting 1,000. Are there 9 people watching this stream right now that haven't subscribed? Just hit that subscribe button and we're going to hit 1,000. And then we may even do a special broadcast. Who knows? But thank you, Ramsey Sinclair, just saying what a great stream it's been today. Thank you. So I completely agree. I think it's been real fun, enjoyable. Davey P asking the simple thing, when has Kane ever started strongly? I think, though, that was due to the fact that every single season he seems to never have a rest. But this is the first time this season he's finally had a time off, had a bit of a rest. I think he got married as well. So, absolutely superb. I think we just had a subscriber because I heard a noise coming through my... Let's try Bicky one more time. Let's just try and see if we can get Bicky live on air. Bicky, are you there? No, they're not there. Shame. If anybody does want to come in on the live chat and discuss things all fantasy football, you know, I'm here. I'm ready to listen. Hear what your thoughts are on the season up ahead and everything. If you've put your team in the rate my team, we can all go through it with you. The guys can watch it live on air, and we can all go and see what your thought process is as to why you are picking specific teams themselves. I mean, talking of Davey P here, we'll just quickly bring his team up. He's going with Ryan Digne. There it is there, whoops. He's going with Ryan Digne, Robertson, Walker, Sterling William. There's an interesting name there. Salah, Sigurdsson, Wilson, King and Calvert-Lewin. Player I just really don't enjoy, but that's just my my thought process. Mr. Kimmy saying that for a bit of fun, loves captaining a 4 million goalkeeper at the start of the season. Obviously putting on the old vice captaincy on what do you call it, Salah or something like that. But whenever people do that, I just pray to the Lord that that the actual 4 million, I'm lost for words then, 4 million non-playing player that they think actually does end up playing. So yeah, so I think, I mean, there's a lot of I always keep saying this, there's a lot of talk between you guys. There's not that much chat for me to go over, really. I mean, I've been going on now for, well, this has been a short stream, to be honest with you, about 2.5 hours, but here we are, regular familiar caller, Boa Rice. I'm close to putting Origi back into my team for the first time in weeks. The season has to start now, or else I'm going FPL mad. Yeah, so Boa Rice actually originally had Origi in his team rather than Salah. But I think that going without Salah could be mad. Although we've had a few people saying that they're concerned that Salah may not be fit enough. Well, not specifically fit enough, but needs the rest to actually really kick on and have the season that he had, not only last season, but certainly the season before that. Let's try Bicky one more time. If you're not there, Bicky. Hello, Bicky, are you there? 3, 2, no, they're not there. They're not coming on. Right, there we are, done. Right then, ladies and gentlemen, I think I'm going to end it there. But, oh, says that he's been locked for some reason. I don't know why. Let's see if I can find out why, potentially, but oops, wrong button. Ooh. I don't know why you're locked, Bicky. It's telling me that Bicky's been locked. I don't know why. I can only apologise why you're locked. Jason is more the tech guy, as I like to call Jason. But yeah, unfortunately, I don't know why. Sorry, mate. But yeah. Anyway, yes, I think I'm going to call it an evening or a night, whatever you want to call it. It's been a short stream today. Yeah, what can I say? Started with a rant. ended with a real positive. I think the interaction with the callers has been absolutely fantastic. I think, like I said, we've had some real insight, especially from Papa Smurf. I thought his words of wisdom were fantastic. Even took some inspiration and actually changed a couple of players. He's thinking that Grant Hanley of Norwich is your guaranteed starter for 4 million for Norwich. You know, people going Martin Kelly, not guaranteed. Winston Reid's been mentioned. Ben Gibson, the Burnley defender. Can't see it myself unless... The only way Ben Gibson is going to start, quite simply, is if Tarkowski is sold. So Ben Gibson was our record signing last... I'm a Burnley fan. Was our record signing last year. And basically he didn't play a single minute apart from the odd cameo. And basically, unless, like I said, Tarkowski is sold, he ain't gonna be starting for us. But if Tarkowski is sold, then Ben Gibson is your man, basically. And for 4 million, and like I said, he was our record. He's been joint record signing along with Chris Wood. I mean, you can't ignore those fixtures. I mean, they're absolutely fantastic. Playing for a Burnley team, which, as we all know, very tight in defence and everything. Don't know anything about that. Southampton, Arsenal was not exactly the greatest fixtures. Wolves, Liverpool, no chances. Between game weeks 5 and 7, where we got Brighton, Norwich and Aston Villa, that's where your clean sheets are going to be coming from there. Those 3 fixtures between game week 5 and 7. So maybe, could Ben Gibson be that starter? Who knows? I mean, it's a very interesting topic, so to speak. But yeah, I think I'm going to call it an evening there. I think we've been going on too long now, and yes, I'm lost for words. What can I say? Let's go through the admin, shall we? The usual thing, really. If you've enjoyed the stream, just simply hit that like button. It just shows your support. If you're not a subscriber and you enjoy the content, this content just keeps coming on and on and on. It's usually spontaneous, and like I said, there's a chance that I could be live streaming every single day between now and next week Friday. There's a chance, and during that period, we will certainly get the 3 of us back together at some point, myself, Jason and Dan. I actually really do want to do a stream with those 2 guys, number one, or just with one of them at least. I'll give you another exclusive if you're staying with us now so far, is that Dan potentially could be doing a live stream himself. Hey? Dan could be doing his first live stream for you guys at some point this week. Again, don't quote me on that, but there is a chance. He's got the equipment and everything. It's just a case of whether he wants to do it or not, and I'm sure he does. I know he wants to do it, so that'll be really interesting to see if he does it. Yes, I'll be certainly trying to do one every single day. They are all going to be spontaneous, so the only way to find out when we're going live is through Twitter at EliteFPL or in the Discord group, and I'm sure Jason's there, FPL Boona Daily Llama. If you could just put the link into the Discord group. As many of the callers have said, they found the Discord really helpful. They really enjoy the community that we're building, and it just helps you with your team process, really, of selecting players and everything. And it's like I said, it's an interesting topic point, this whole template team and everybody choosing the same players. And we've had a lot of differential teams on this evening, and I've really enjoyed going through those specific teams. So yeah, there we have it. I'm gonna be signing off. Really enjoyed tonight, and you will probably catch me. Danny Norris, you've literally just tuned in as I'm about to stop the stream. Let's just see if there's anybody new in the waiting. No, there isn't. I was wondering if there's anybody waiting in the waiting room to come live on air. There's not. So I'm going to end it there. Thank you so much for joining in, and like I said, help us get to that 1,000. Only 10 away, or 9 away, in fact. Take it easy, guys.